Hello, people. I want to say moms, but I hope that eventually there will be more than just moms watching. I'm so used to just speaking to the moms because
I
if you didn't
know.
know, you're tuning into Real Talk Brave Moms Academy Live.
Yes.
Um, Thank you for being here this Wednesday.
Oh, hi. We're in a conversation. It is more than moms, I'm sure, I hope.
Yeah, yeah,
And what's funny
definitely.
is I'm in the middle of, I want to be able to say in one or two sentences what we do here. And I think what we do is bring emotional health to families, one woman at a time or man.
Hmm.
We are actually opening programs right now where men can come be in a man room and do the same work, and maybe a couple's room for people to do the same work. But the reality is we're equipping one woman to become emotionally and mentally healthy by teaching her to communicate and walking her through a
Hmm.
journey with God that identifies her, helps her understand who she is and who he is for her, and who the people around her are. How cool is that? That's what we do in one or two sentences. So you could be anybody. It's easy to come to this work as a mom because when you become a mom, all your stuff shows. Motherhood is a mirror. So unless you're going to be completely avoidant, numbing out on your screens or become an alcoholic or something like that, just pursue your flesh until you can drown it out. You will see that you are reproducing what's going on inside of you in your home when you become a mom. So it's easy to, I think you're right. I think that's why it's easy to talk to moms.
I feel the need to speak to someone who is watching and the words emotional health, mental health, feelings. If you're like eye rolling, because that was me
Woo.
before this, I kind of eye rolled at that. Like, what is that? Um, Stay tuned. Give us a chance because I know where you're at. And there is so much value in what we're talking about with feelings and emotion.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's talk about that for a sec. Is that because you wrote your feelings off? When you heard someone say like, um, hey, how do you feel about that? You're like, I don't need to talk about how I feel. I need to talk about what I'm going to do. Is that kind of the mindset?
Yes, absolutely. And
So,
I don't know that the people in my life ever asked me that. Like I would say the people that I looked up to, looked to lead me. I don't I don't can't think of many times where they're like, how do you feel about that? That wasn't a factor in the conversation. So that was a new concept. That question was a new question in my brain.
yeah, that's so funny because I came from the opposite world where I was drowning in my feelings and I was kind of crying out for someone to help me with how I felt. And I think the advice I was getting was like, if you want a different result, do something different. And so that's funny because we kind of came at it from opposite ways. Like I was living in an overfeeling world, and it doesn't mean I knew what to do with it. It just meant I was so sloshed around by how things felt. And so, like, kind of the work I needed to do was be able to look at how I feel and then put it in its place and not let it make my decisions for me. And the work that you needed to do was open up your feelings and figure out what's going on in there and find out what your body's trying to tell you so you could come to what's true. Almost
Yeah,
opposite. That's wild.
yeah.
But handling feelings appropriately is so critical. And it's a little bit about what we're going to talk about today. If you're a listener right now who's ever been in a church service who hears a great sermon, maybe you watch a great YouTube video full of faith, or you come from a worship meeting where everyone's hands are in the air and they're hollering to Jesus, and suddenly you can have vision. Suddenly you have clear vision for the hope for your future. You start to have flashes of like the romance in your marriage that God is going to do. And you start to have flashes of like your kids when they're grown up and like operating in their gift and their calling. Or you have flashes of like the new home you guys are going to buy. And you feel amazing because you are inspired. And inspired, that word comes from the word inspiration, actually comes, it's a breathing word. Inspiration is breath in you. Inspire, like perspire, or what's another spire word about breath? Alyssa, do you know what I'm talking about?
Expire.
Like respiration. This is about breathing.
Yeah.
Inspiration is like, it feels like this. You just got a huge, fresh breath of fresh, good things. That's how it feels when you're on kind of that worship high. And what we're talking about here is bringing that worship high that inspires faith into power that changes things. And I know that for me, I was inspired on a Sunday over and over, but I would drop down into the doldrums of Monday and wake up to the reality. Like, I'm in the worship service dreaming about the romance in our marriage. And then I'm getting in a car where I'm being stonewalled. And I'm like, did you like the service? And the response I'm getting is like, frustrated. And I'm like, what's going on? And then the response I'm getting is like, why do you have an agenda with me? And I was so confused. Like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? The contrast between the way you feel in a moment of faith, someone is imparted to you great faith. And then you walk into the reality and it feels like you're up against, there's a low ceiling and a wall, right? What we're talking about in here is the skill sets that you need to bridge that gap. Because what's between the inspiration and the manifestation is steps to take. And I didn't know what the steps were when I was a Christian in a toxic family. I was so inspired and able to inspire. I have the gift of communicating and encouragement and painting pictures for people with my words. So I could even move other people. But onto what? I was still stuck at home. There was still defensiveness and arguing and blame and control and disrespect and melting down. And we were all so confused and disconnected. Here's the gap. Emotional health is a set of skills. Intimacy in your marriage and getting respect from your kids, that's a set of skills. It's not an issue of faith. And so I have two pictures I want to paint for you. Alyssa, I feel like doing the sea captain picture first. Does that feel appropriate right now? Yeah. Okay. First of all, do you relate to this, Alyssa? Like, can you tell your picture of can you tell your picture of what it felt like to be like, have so much faith and then be stuck? Was that a reality in your family?
Absolutely. I mean, verbatim, the Sunday morning inspiration. That's what God's word does. It is there to encourage and inspire us and reveal the truth. So when the truth was preached, I absolutely felt inspired and encouraged. I had so much hope. And I would at home too, when I open my Bible and I sit down and pray with the Lord, but then I get up from the couch and I close my Bible and I go about my tasks. And the inspiration didn't follow me. And I'm stuck with all these circumstances, decisions. Felt like all these things would happen to me and I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't have the skills like you're talking about. I had inspiration, which the longer you go without that, it only lasts so long. And then not having history or an experience with the skills to fall back on. You just kind of felt left in the dust, confused, alone. I guess I just got to wing it. I guess I just got to survive.
Yeah.
Which leads to so much, just like resentment, desperation. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. And guilt. I remember feeling so much guilt that I wasn't more grateful. That was always my thing. Is like,
yeah,
I have this beautiful family of these two little beautiful babies. At the time I had two kids and I have this man who goes to work so hard every day. Like, why am I not more grateful? It's me. I'm the problem. So, the other thing I think I experienced, and tell me if this was your experience as well, I would find some light, like some hope in worldly resources. And then I was so scared that I was like veering from the Lord or veering from biblical foundations. So I would hear people talk about manipulation, for example, and I'll be like, oh, that's what I'm dealing with. But I can't listen to this YouTuber break it down for me because it's not in my Bible. And but the lights are like coming on, or hear somebody talk about narcissism and witchcraft like on YouTube, who's not a believer and isn't relating it back to Holy Spirit and the scriptures. And I would get so scared of those resources because they weren't coming from the pulpit, they weren't coming from the word. And so there was also for me this big kind of felt like almost like being tempted into like a swirl of darkness to even look at these things, to look at the psychology, look at the brain science, look at the communication, go to therapy. How many of you ever felt like if I go to therapy, I'm somehow like not relying on Jesus enough or something? Like, did you have those thoughts as well? Like I was so grappling with, is having a coach, is a coach a legal thing in Christianity? These thoughts of other people being able to turn the lights on for me, but me being scared of that. Did you have that?
Yeah, I'm trying to gather some thoughts around this. I absolutely did. I was always looking for God's answer for it. And so anytime I'd find something that didn't explicitly give credit to him or show me like here's what we believe, here's why, here's where it says it in the word.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, I can't go there. I was very afraid.
Yeah. Okay. This is so cool because I think that the picture I'm going to paint is like, is this. And I'm having new thoughts about it as we go. So I'm going to tell you guys a story about being on the ocean that I think is going to bridge the gap here for us. Okay. So this is going to help you decide who and what to listen to in the things that you need help with. Okay. I wish I was holding my Bible because I want to hold it right now really bad as a picture, but I don't, it's over there. Okay. I got to go fishing this summer on a charter grade boat with my friends, like deep sea fishing. It was such a cool privilege. I was like, they brought me there as a gift to me. Like that became clearer and clearer and clearer as we went. Like I got to learn anything I wanted to about being on the boat and helping out and baiting and buying the bait and which lure to use for what fish and how, like they were teaching me like you reel differently and cast differently for different kinds of fish. I don't know if you knew that. It's mind-blowing, cool stuff. So I got to have this experience going on this boat. And my friend, who is the captain, was getting us out of the, what's it called? The harbor. Here we go. See, this is my knowledge about fishing boats. Okay. This is my knowledge, my limited understanding of what goes on the sea on a charter boat. Okay. We're leaving the harbor and you got to cross the bar. The bar is where the sand is up high under the water. So if big waves from the deep sea start to come in and they hit that bar, imagine a bouncing ball coming and crashing onto a suddenly very much higher surface. The charge of the waves is going to be very intense. So it is a huge issue of safety to cross the bar on certain days. Okay. This is just one thing that I was learning about that goes into being the captain of the boat. Okay. So we're crossing the bar and it looks quite a bit choppy. We're hitting some 7 to 10 foot swells on the way out. And he stops the boat as we're hitting these big swells. And he turns and he looks at 3 of us women, his wife, myself, and another friend of mine who's like a sister. We're like family. Okay. This is a family conversation we're about to have. How important is it to you guys to get out there today? And everyone is like, we're a go, right? Like we all want to go. And he knows what captains know that I don't know. None of us know what's in his head right now is that it's about to get intense. And the about to get intense is worth it if it's very important for all of us to go out today and we're willing to go out in kind of a stormy situation. But see, he knows a bunch of stuff that I don't know. So I'm looking at a blue sky and I'm thinking like, why are we even talking about this? We all decided we want to go fishing today. So we have to ask him back, like, what do you mean? Why are you asking us if it's worth it? what are the stakes? And he's like, oh, well, here's what I'm noticing. These 7 to 10s here on the bar, this could potentially be 4 to 6 hours of us riding like 20-foot swells out there. And it may be drizzly and windy and awful, but if you really want to fish, we can do it. We can keep you dry and warm and we'll figure it out, but it's not going to be as pleasant as the sunny blue day we thought it was going to be. So we all look at each other and we decide, no, we want to go for it. We're down for a stormy day. We still want to fish. These are adventurous women who, no question, we'd rather be in the wild fishing than be comfortable. So we're going. So then we're out there and I'm sitting on the, they let me have, I think it's like a perch of there's some word like a perch. I get to be in the co-captain's chair because I'm the new guy and they want me to have this experience. And I'm just chatting to my friend. I'm looking at all of he has really cool diagrams, like a TV screen in front of the steering wheel. And it shows where there's fish under us and it shows the terrain, how high it is as we're moving. And the screen is changing like this, even though we're going for it. It's very complex. And suddenly it hits me. He's got a lifetime of experience and knowledge up in his brain that I do not have. Like I wouldn't be able to read any of the information I'm looking at. I don't know what any of it means. So I just asked him, I was like, what is the training it takes to be a fishing boat captain? And he's like, well, there's a handful of levels. Okay, more information I don't know. So I was like, how about your level? He's like, well, my licensing is to charter, which means I can take others. Like there's a certain kind of licensing that you can just take yourself out to sea. And then there's like charter licensing where you're going to take other people out to sea. Okay. He said, I needed 400 sea days logged to get my license. And I think a sea day is 8 hours on the water. So if you spent every day for over a year on the ocean, you'd be on your way to getting your license. And he said, there's also a textbook and tests. And then someone comes out and stands next to me and watches me and asks me to do certain things that I have to prove I can do. Y'all, to be a seaboat captain, you need to know about depth. You need to know about rocks and topography. You need to know about tides. You need to know about barometric pressure. I hope I'm saying that word right. See, I don't know the things. You need to know how to use a compass. There are so many things, and we haven't even started talking about fishing yet. Here's what this means for you, okay? Here's my point. I thought that when I became a Christian and I became a family, I became a wife and a mom, that since I had Jesus, everything would just work out. Like similar to that. And now I realize how crazy that is. If you were going to get on a boat and be the captain and take people with you, y'all, do you know that's what you did when you got married and you had kids? You decided, I'm going to take people with me in my life. I cannot fathom at this point, knowing what I know, a person saying, hey, listen, jump on my boat. I'm going to get behind this steering wheel. We're going to go out there and it's going to be an awesome day. And them having no credentials, no textbook, no training officer who commands to see certain tasks, no manual, no tests, and no 400 sea days. 400 days at sea, y'all. Documented. That's ludicrous. We will get killed very soon. It's only a number of days on the water before we're all going to die with someone at the helm who hasn't got the training. Our emotions and our words and our beliefs and our thoughts require understanding. They require training. I was haphazardly operating with my kids as if I should just know what I'm doing because I have Jesus with me and I birthed them, so it should be automatic. And I remember thinking, where's the manual? But then so quickly changing where's the manual to I'm a failure. I'm just screwing this up left and right. I should know how to do this and I don't. Why don't I know how to have a boundary? Why don't I know what the rules should be for my kids? Why don't I know how to respond when I'm angry? Why don't I know how to listen to him when he's angry? Why am I taking everything personally? There are principles in scripture that can be translated into, that can be overlaid a faith foundation for the brain science and the relationship science and the communication skills that you need. And not having it is not your fault. It was supposed to happen when you grew up. That was supposed to, sea captains are supposed to raise sea captains. This, how many of you know the son of a sea captain, if he's really a sea captain, is going to learn the stuff. But if your parent was not emotionally healthy, you did not grow up under sea captain. You did not grow up under, I know how to handle my feelings of what they mean. You did not grow up under how to have a boundary, know who you are, understand where you're going, take people with you. You didn't grow up that way. You don't have it installed. No problem. You just need to get the training. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Alyssa, are you compelled, if you're a listener, to get the training? And it's okay. Like, my heart is to remove the guilt. I would never look at you and be like, hey, you idiot, why aren't you a sea captain yet? How come you can't take people out on a charter and charge them money to get on a boat with you? What's your problem? No, no, no. I didn't train as a sea captain. I did not train as a mother. I did not train as a wife, and I didn't grow up in a healthy home. I had to get the training. And I want to take the guilt away from you and the confusion away from you that you don't know who you are and you don't know where you're going. You don't know how to talk when things get intense. You just haven't had the training, and you didn't grow up in a family that gave it to you. So come get it. It's very simple. There is no guilt. Just get the skills. Yeah, you can have that. It's so awesome. I think my first 3 days outside the guilt of like, I don't get it and I should get it, were the dreamiest days of my whole life. Like the most exciting days of my life. Like, oh, I just get to be in here learning then. Like, wow, what a gift. Okay, talk to me, Alyssa. What's in your head?
Well, what you just said describes the peace that I had coming into Brave Moms, because I remember you pointing out, like, within the first couple weeks of me being in the program and coming on a call and saying, I didn't know this much peace was possible. And you've brought that up multiple times, and and every time we say it, I think back, I'm like, dang, I wish I remembered that moment as well as you did. What was the shift there? What made me say that? Because since then, 2.5 years later, so much has happened and so many layers have peeled back and so many things have been healed, and there's been so much growth in me and my family. I'm like, but how could I say something like that 2 weeks in? What was it? And I think you just said it. It was coming to the realization that the guilt could come off and I could just be here and learn. And I was right where I needed to be. I think that was the peace, the overwhelming peace that I had not experienced yet. You said it very well.
Yeah, I think that was it for you. I think that your kids were reacting to you before and you were thinking, what do I need to do different? How do I handle this? And what's wrong with me? And why am I not a fit mom for them? And all of that was gone. And I think at that moment when you said that and you cried, which was alarming to it was marked. I flagged it because I know that at that time, especially, you were a pretty unemotional person. And so seeing you go from pretty stoic and practical and logical to, I vividly remember you, tears just streaming down your face without you touching them, and saying to the camera, I had no idea this much peace was possible at my house. And the girls hadn't stopped talking back to you. And you and your guy were not in an amazing place yet, but you had become like the eye of the storm. Like, me and Jesus are hooked up and I am at ease no matter what's happening around me. And that is the first skill that anybody needs in any relationship issue. You've got to become the place that is full of peace. And there are steps to get you there. Like, we can get you, it's just steps to take. So that is such a cool awareness that you just had, that was it. Not questioning yourself anymore. And it's fascinating to me how long I had to hear and be in Christian environments where I was told that the blood of Jesus paid for me, and how many things about me I had kind of removed from that reality and kept in a different box. Like, yes, he bought my way to heaven, but he didn't pay for my people pleasing. He didn't pay for my anxiety. He didn't pay for this guilt that I feel about not being enough. Somehow those were so separate in my mind. And this work is really about bringing all of that together. First thing is, no, baby, he bought the mess you're making right now. He paid for it. So you can take your focus on, I got to try so hard not to make this mess anymore. You can take your focus off of that and onto, okay, what is the reality of what we're living in? And what am I about to do next? Which I think was your piece at that time.
That was
She's in
great.
think mode.
I do remember you telling that story before, but I liked hearing it again. I didn't remember all the details. It's such a good picture.
Yeah. So, oh, I'm 2 minutes late to meet with a client, so I'm going to go do that. I just realized. Hi, my name is Katie, and I am breaking through a chronically late problem. Okay. If this has inspired you, please send it to a friend. If this has helped you think differently, please send this to someone you love. I know that you know at least 8 women who are selling themselves short and beating themselves up. Please send them this message of hope. Subscribe to the channel. And we want you to know that we have a membership. Okay, I'm going to tell you something because it's sometimes I realize I'm not very clear about this, just so you know, in case you ever need to know. We have an intensive. This is a full-time boundaries, identity, transformation. Woo! You can shift the dynamics in your whole home. Okay. We have an intensive. It's called Brave Moms Academy. Brave Moms Academy now also has a membership where you can get just like a vault of communication courses and a step-by-step curriculum to go down this journey that we talked about today. You can do the steps. It's more of a DIY, but we do meet with those students every single week for an hour and consult on the material and answer any questions you have. It is such an inspiring, encouraging space, and you will have all the nuts and bolts of all the skills you need. If you can do it that way, we want you to go do it that way. If you get in there and you find out you need intensive healing, you can also jump into the intensive. But right now in May, we have opened 15 spots in the membership because I think that's going to put us at capacity for the weekly coaching call. We want every student to have our whole attention. So I'm going to put a link for the membership down here. It is not going to stay at that investment level, and it is not going to stay at weekly coaching. It just can't. So like early adopters are going to have this cush grandfathered into this rate and this amount of coaching because we're so hungry for more women to get going. So 15 spots open in May. And if you need that, it's below. It's the skills that we've been talking about today. So please do that. Be brave. Shed the guilt. It's not part of your faith. That guilt, it is not part of your walk of faith. So let Jesus be all the things that he is designed to be. He paid for you. He paid for you. So today's message is shed the guilt, get the skills. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Alyssa, final thoughts?
Please come back tomorrow.